Hello and welcome to another episode of Inside Marine. This week, I'm going to be talking to the growth hacker for one of the most exciting scale-up tech businesses in the leisure marine industry right now. It gives me great pleasure to be chatting to Chris Whatley from navvy. Hi, Chris.
Hi, thanks for inviting me on your podcast.
No worries. No, it's great to have you on, and thanks for coming along. So look, Chris, before we get into it, growth hacker, really, really interesting title there. Tell us a bit about that.
So my background is digital marketing. And when I joined navvy, the discussion was put up between me and Yelta, the CEO, of what job title I wanted. Because it's a marketing role, it's a marketing function. As we're kind of a bit of a hipster startup organization, we wanted something that would stand out. And growth hacker as a job title is something that kind of goes hand in hand with those startup companies. We are looking for growth. We are looking for 10x potential wherever we can, not just a few percent here and there. We're looking for massive growth in the market, and that kind of goes hand in hand with what we've done. Last year, 1,400% increase in users. So that's where the job title kind of gets all its focus from.
Yeah. Brilliant. Really living up to the job title by the sounds of it with that growth. And I love that you guys have gone down this route of making your kind of job title your mission, if you like. It's really, really interesting and thought provoking when, for what we do, and we're dealing with people's careers and job titles all the time. It really gets you thinking of what the alternatives could be. So look, Chris, thanks again. And what we like to do during our conversation is start right at the beginning. So tell us why and how you got into the marine industry.
So my first role within the marine industry was working for the RWA pre-2012 Olympics. I moved to the South Coast from Essex. I'd been travelling up to London, still working in my job in telecoms in the city. That was getting me a bit down. I've been sailing for about 10 years and really wanted something in the industry, something that I could really kind of drive with digital. And that's my background, that's my passion. And the website manager role came up at the RWA. Jumped at the chance to kind of get involved with that. One interview later, and the job was mine. And I worked there for about 4.5-5 years. It couldn't have been that long. Would have been just under 4 years. And so that was one Olympic cycle, the 2012 Olympic cycle. But that role it was titled as website manager, but it was so much bigger than that. There was so many other bits and pieces going on within that role, from email marketing, social media, digital web projects as well. It was quite a busy role in a fairly small team in a very large organization.
Yeah. And I suppose back then there was a lot of sort of new style of digital marketing that was, still fairly kind of fresh, and we were all, still using it. So having to kind of, I suppose, get your head around it and utilize it to the best of such a large audience and such a time within us, the sport of sailing must have been an interesting.
Yeah, no, for sure, definitely. I remember starting the RWA Facebook page. That was one of the things I did. So that was securing the account, the land grabbing domains and stuff like that. That was part of what I was doing. So when a new social platform came up, that was, might not be using it straight away, but there's going to be need to in the future.
And then so following on from the RYA, where did the journey go after that?
So after some time at the RYA, I saw a role at a berth and boat company. I'm based in Lymington. They're one of the biggest employers in the area, huge yard, huge brokerage, massive marina as well. They had a marketing role available there. I had a couple of interviews and started as a marketing coordinator for them.
Great. And then, and then what was it like going from I suppose, sort of a sporting, sort of not-for-profit, if you like, into a real industry kind of giant, if you like, in Berthon? What differences did you see there?
The main thing was being able to do things quickly and respond to things quickly. Within the RWA, it's, most things you kind of have to get sign off, which is understandable for what you want to do, or there's processes put in place to ensure that the content that's going out is correct and factually, correct and timely and so on and so forth. But with Berthon, it was being able to kind of drive that digital aspect that they didn't really have a grasp on just yet, but they've kind of run with it now really well, especially the brokerage team doing, pieces to camera about every single boat that they can get on for sales. And also, one of the things I was most proud of there was providing the narrative, the story for what Berthon was actually doing, not from a brokerage angle, but in the shipyard itself. So whether that was doing stuff with customers' boats or more on the commercial side with the RNLI, building the Shannon class boats and things like that.
And then, you talked about sort of being, one of the things you're most proud of, back then, and I'm sure there's been a lot, over the years, and again, like we said, being able to kind of be the first to the first Facebook page, maybe the first new content. Is there any other kind of first that you did over those sort of earlier years that really stand out?
One thing that does really stand out is being part of the 2012 Olympic team, or the Olympics, was being in the press room at the RWA for the Olympics and the Paralympics, being able to see what was going on between the press team, updating website, doing social media posts. And for the Paralympics, the only way you could get updates on what was happening on the water was through social channels. So our Twitter account was kind of commended in the press for the information that we were putting out. It was the only place you could find out what was going on with, in race and things like that. So, typing away whilst races were going on, watching what was going on and feeding back over social was a real kind of highlight for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously across, working in industry, working for, the governing body of the sport of sailing, bringing it into, Savvy Navvy, how did all that kind of prepare you for that sort of startup style business, really new concept that you guys are doing now? And tell us a bit more about that.
I think being able to wear many different hats definitely does help you within a startup, because, pun intended, it is all hands on deck at times when stuff needs to get done. You might be, my days might be transitioning between a huge paid marketing campaign through Facebook or Google Ads or something like that, to 10 minutes later doing SEO for landing pages, to doing a design work for new creatives or an advert. It's, you know, you've got to, within a kind of digital framework or digital role, you've got to be able to wear many hats, definitely, and be able to kind of focus on different projects at any one time.
And tell us what's happening with Savvy Navvy. You know, it's been on sort of in the market for 3 years now. You've been with them for a couple of years, and you know, you talked about incredible growth just in the last 12 months. Tell us a bit more about the sort of the journey that you guys are going on at the moment, and what's been happening.
So with Savvy Navvy, we want to be in every boater's pocket. We want to be a disruptor in the market. You know, the thing that really resonates with me is Yelta tells this story. I've seen him do it in presentations where he's talking about his realization for the company while doing the Clipper yacht race. And he was, you know, it was a brand new multi-million-pound boat. And the navigation that he was having to do was pretty much exactly the same as what was done on his grandfather's boat when he started to learn to sail. And he's kind of thought, there's got to be something different. There's got to be a way that this can be done using tech. You know, he's an ex-Google engineer, so it's easy for him to be able to kind of think these things up. But, you know, being in every boater's pocket, having a tool that allows you so much information in one place, you know, being the Google Maps of boats, that's one of our marketing taglines. It's offering people as much information as they need to get from A to B as safely and quickly as possible.
And you talked about being a disruptor in the market. Just tell us a bit more about what that means to you. And
it's for me personally, I think it's a great thing because, you know, we're not necessarily looking at the traditional marketing channels to promote our business. Everything that we do kind of in a promotional way, we need to be able to track what it's doing to make sure that we're getting the ROI back from what we're putting in. That's why we kind of tend to look more at the digital elements within our marketing space. Yes, we have done some traditional marketing activities, but we tend to focus mainly on digital stuff. But you know, that as a disruptor within what we're doing is huge for me, because we're able to see exactly what's going on a day-to-day basis. And know where the money's being spent and know what's coming in.
Yeah, absolutely. And tell us what's the experience that you guys are having, you know, as a startup with a tech business, trying to bring, I suppose, a very alternative product to quite a traditional market. You talked about the CEO doing the Clipper race and using technology and navigation techniques that his grandfather used, and you know, the industry is not always well known for sort of being the most sort of modern or most technically advanced, in some ways. So tell us about that.
Yeah, but you say that we have in the technology that is in our industry drives so many other industries. The carbon work that is done translates directly into F1. A lot of the sail manufacturers where they've done 3DI, 3DL, whatever, the mast manufacturers, that work has gone straight into Formula One. So you can't, I know what you mean, that we don't have, you know, we're not a technology kind of focused industry. But on one hand, we are. On the other hand, we're not. There is probably a big shift coming in the industry to more tech focused, especially when you've got the likes of Pixie with their electric boat. It's all around, that electric hydrogen powered boats and things like that. This is all technology stuff that's coming straight into the market, which you can see is being welcomed with open arms by some, and then just totally not by other people. So, but you've got to look at how tech can improve the industry, and it does on a day-to-day basis. If our app helps people get on the water safely, then that's a big tick for us. That's what we want people to do. We want to get more people out on the water.
And you say there's a shift coming. Is that being driven, in your opinion, by the tech developments that people can't ignore, or is it being driven by a new type of customer or a new generation of customer? I mean, where's the shift coming from?
I think it's coming from quite a few places. Yes, we are seeing, especially during the pandemic or post-pandemic, the boating boom with, more younger people buying their first boats, more people coming into sailing or into boating, but also the technology that's there driving what is now possible with batteries over the kind of normal petrol, diesel engines, whatever. It's, that shift is there and it's happening. It's what people are going to want. It's, we're seeing it within the motor industry as well. It's now becoming, it's not quite the norm, but it's nearly is the norm to have an electric car. So why can't that translate into the marine industry? Yes, certain it does fit well for certain size boats, but it's not going to be for until the technology moves on. It's not going to be for every single boat that's out there.
Absolutely. And what are you seeing in our industry right now? That's really kind of exciting you, and how's our industry doing in your mind from your perspective?
I feel like I've only been in the industry a short time, but it's actually probably not. It's probably been a bit longer than that. I think it's really exciting what's happening. There's a lot of newer yacht manufacturers coming on. The technology with, what we do with handheld devices, or I might have to start that one again if that's all right.
That's all right.
What was the question that you asked?
No worries. No, that's fine. I was just asking. Okay, I'll ask it again. It was what? I'll ask a different question.
Yeah.
Actually. So, okay. So taking it back to just more specifically to digital marketing, how are we doing as an industry that you see, with our digital marketing, I suppose, not just within the industry, but using it to the max to really get people excited to not just come and buy products in the industry, but actually maybe coming, to join the industry for their careers?
Yeah. So I think that the industry itself could be doing a whole lot more with digital. I see some manufacturers doing kind of boat tours and things like that, which might have come from the pandemic and them having to do something else to be able to get boats in front of people. And I think that's a good thing. It means that person is more qualified when they actually come and see the boat. So you can spend quality time with people who are further down the sales cycle. So that's that's great. So having as much kind of digital elements within your business is great, but you're never gonna, for certain areas of the industry, you do need to press the flesh. You need to be with that person in front of them, showing them your product. That's always going to be the case. But with digital marketing campaigns, emails, all of these sort of improvements that you can make to your website, you can get your products in front of more people cheaply, and get as much data from it as possible. That's one of the things that we're keen with in Savvy Navvy, is all around the data, what we can see, where we can change things within our sales funnel, what markets we're going after, what type of people within these markets that we're going after as well. It's, the platforms are all out there available for people to use. And the industry could, really kind of use these things to their advantage. One of the things within digital, not just marketing, that we, our team, there's 3 or 4 of us in the UK, 1 in Ireland, 1 in the States, a guy in Denmark, girl in Amsterdam. Our developers are in Greece and Moscow. So we're not all sat in the same room, but we are using digital technology. So using Zoom calls, or we use Google Meet or Slack as a kind of messaging tool within the teams. I don't have to go to an office. I can spend more time at my desk rather than commuting. So it doesn't work for everyone, and it won't work for everyone's business, but that kind of really, really works for us and what we're doing. And it means that we're not restricted by location for staff as well. So you're not kind of picking from the same pool as everyone else is trying to do if you're located in one place and your office is in one place. So it's kind of, digital is really good for those sorts of things as well.
Yeah. And what do you see the opportunities right now with digital marketing within our industry? I suppose, what's the next thing that we're all going to be doing on that front?
Well, I don't know if there's going to be a next thing. There are some social platforms like TikTok that are kind of booming in certain industries. I'm not sure that's quite right for us just yet. I'm not sure if it's the right kind of age bracket for people within our industry, or look at, sailors and so on. But as an opportunity, there's, doing the fundamentals well, doing the fundamentals on your website, making sure that your user journeys are well thought out, that you've got clear pathways for people. If you're a broker, think about what people will be looking for and how they should flow through the system to get them to where you want. Is it to get them to make a phone call? Is it to get them to fill in an email form? Is it to get them to download something? Think about those journeys. It's kind of key to what we're doing constantly is A/B testing. Is this correct? What we've got at the moment, you might not see any variation in our website or our marketing campaigns, but you will probably fall into an A/B test at some stage, whether it's, around content or creatives that you're showing, messaging, a different landing page that's either really lightweight or really heavy, depending, it's all about testing. And that's one of the things we're really kind of pushed to do within Savvy Navvy. Yelta, our CEO, is keen to test, which is music to my ears as a digital marketer, because we can see results from that. And sometimes it's better to fail, so you can really dig into why that's failed, why has that failed, and then you can get into, was it a creative, was it this, was it that, what's happened, right, on to the next test. You're constantly learning what works, what doesn't. So we're constantly on calls with our Facebook and Google Ads reps to kind of look at new products and services that they've got running, and what their new inventory is for our campaigns. We're happy, really, really happy to speak to them and do tests that they want us to do, because it really drives what we're doing. My goal, or our goal within the marketing team, there's two of us, is to increase how many users we've got, increase our downloads, but also reduce our cost of customer acquisition. So it's really kind of the little elements within that sales funnel. You might add a 1% difference here, but that 1% at the top of the funnel might be huge at the other end of the funnel, and vice versa. So
it's I really like what you just said about it's good to fail, and actually be prepared when you're trying to do something new or different, that actually that kind of be okay and comfortable with that element of risk that it could go wrong. And I guess that's really important for any kind of scale up type business. You've got to be a bit brave at times.
No, definitely. And we've certainly done some A/B tests where we're like, right, this is the test, this is what we're going to do. From the constant to the new variable in our heads, this is going to win, this is going to be what people want. And then you go and test it, and it's like, okay, why didn't that work? And it's, we do it with creatives as well. So we'll build a stack of creatives that I'll put through the team as a kind of, what do you think? And it might be images for campaigns, or it might be a little video or a little GIF. What do you think? Yeah, that's really good. That's really good. We really don't like that one. And I've learned from doing A/B tests, the ones that the team don't like, those are the ones that generally win in the A/B test, which is really, really odd. But
why do you think that is?
I personally think it's because the team is I'm gonna say quite young. So, and then our industry is then, the average age of sailors or boat owners is more towards the kind of 45 plus. So it's kind of, so the creatives that I might have made, they appeal to the younger people within the team, but actually when we A/B test them, it's those are the ones that don't really get through.
Yeah, and I suppose that's all about understanding your audience and your target market and that sort of stuff. Yeah. But I suppose if you guys know that if all the guys like it, it's probably the wrong thing. That's the constant.
Yeah, definitely.
That works. Really interesting. I mean, that brings us on to, I suppose, the future a bit, and certainly keen to firstly hear, what's next for you and what's next for Savvy Navvy.
I'm not sure what's next for me. We're making plans for next year already. We've got campaign ideas that we want to run. Within our marketing team, there's only 2-3 of us. It's kind of nice because we have a nice open chat and flow about what we want to do and how we're going to do it. But also we have, even though sailing is seasonal, we also have markets that we can do tests in off season, like Australia and New Zealand. So we might be, we are testing campaign types for next year now with our Australia and New Zealand campaigns as they just come online for their sailing season. So that's really good. In terms of Savvy Navvy, we are really looking, we're in the process of redeveloping the app itself. So in the next few weeks, we're starting beta tests on a completely new version of the app. It's all the same function, it's all the same functionality. It's just that we're moving to another platform. So we're looking to kind of really fine tune what we're doing and making improvements across the board. For speed across the app, just so the app is better for people and they enjoy it more, so they use it more.
Absolutely. So I just want to take it back to one of the things you just talked about a minute ago about maybe the general demographic of the people who are using the app, and maybe your customer, or the general demographic of the industry and the customer across the industry. And, you know, an issue that I think we're all quite aware of in this industry, which is, you know, well, certainly one of them, a bit of an aging kind of population of both customer and people who are working in this industry.
Yeah.
We talked a bit about the importance of digital marketing, attracting that certain type of customer. What can we be doing more to really double down on digital marketing to attract maybe a younger customer or a younger professional into our industry?
There's probably quite a few things that could be done. One of the things I always used to come up against, and it's not just within this industry, it's in other industries as well that I've worked in. It's, we've never done it like that before, or that's not the way we do it at the moment. And it's kind of, I find that those sorts of conversations can be, can stop projects in their tracks when, it's only because someone doesn't want change or someone doesn't like change. But, they've got to understand that the times are changing, people are changing, the way they consume are changing, the way that they watch TV is completely changing. I can't remember the last time I watched TV. I generally, watching YouTube and stuff that's digital rather than through TV, so I can watch whatever I want, whenever I want it. I don't have to be sat there at Saturday night at 7:00 to watch whatever the TV tells me to be watching. So it's, people are consuming differently, completely differently to 10, 15 years ago. And I think that's a real opportunity within the sailing market to, and that's not just for boat sales or equipment sales, that's also for training as well. It's trying to get that message across to people that, yes, sailing is awesome, sailing is fun, you are going to have, a great time doing it. But then, the industry could explain that a bit more, how to get into it, how easy it is to actually get into sailing, how you can do it. There is probably a huge opportunity there within digital footprint, but the digital market for the industry. But for people coming into the industry, I think it's having experience. For me, having experience outside the industry was kind of key to what I can do. I know, within any industry, I've got, for my job role, 90% of what I know will make an impact on that business. It's that final kind of 10% of knowing what the industry is doing, knowing what's next, knowing what's coming up, learning about that industry. But the 90% of my job role as a digital marketing manager is SEO, email marketing, websites, customer journeys. And I don't need to know about the industry to get that working, So there is a huge opportunity for anyone with digital background to come into this industry to really drive change within a business. That's a great opportunity for someone. And I have seen it in the past. You get a marketing role that comes up, and you're thinking, that sounds really good. That's a really nice role, nice business. And you look at it and, you know, they want 4 or 5 years of experience, but they don't want to pay what other industries would pay. So, you know, for me, it doesn't matter what kind of industry I'm in. I can flip and flop from wherever, but I do want to be in the marine industry. So I'm trying to carve out a role that's kind of interesting. You know, digital marketing, as I've said earlier, you could be doing one thing 1 minute and something completely different the next. It's trying to get those roles that are kind of interesting, and there's so much to do within the digital world, especially as technology changes. You know, I find it an amazing area to work in.
And just sort of staying on that a little bit more, you know, using the digital marketing to maybe target a new generation of customer, but also industry professional. Something we talk about on the podcast a lot is also diversity within the industry. And, you know, what should we be doing more of, or what are the opportunities that we can be doing across the industry when it comes to digital marketing or utilizing digital marketing platforms to try and help us when it comes to diversity in this industry, which we all know is, you know, really does need sort of dramatically improving?
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. It does need improving, but there's, you know, depending on, you've got to kind of match your channel to your customer. There's no point in us. We know our kind of target customer is 35 upwards, boat owners. It's unlikely that they're going to be on TikTok. You know, so we're not really doing anything on TikTok, but we know that Facebook works. We know that Google search ads work because people are typing in, they're looking for a marine GPS or a navigation app. It's easy for us to find. And Facebook, then, you know, you can target people within that age range that we want. But for us to target younger people, we can easily do that. It's whether they'd be receptive to our product at the end of the day, which, you know, they probably are. But we're, you know, in our stage of growth, we're looking for people, you know, at our target age range or our target market. But for other elements of the industry, yeah, definitely, there's different within the different digital platforms. There are inventory that can be used to target certain subsections or sections of age groups or interest types. That's all people have got to do. It's, you know, if your product is targeted towards that younger and younger age group, then the tools are all out there to be used.
And do you know what more can we be doing, I suppose, to utilize or okay, well, do you see the industry in general utilizing their digital marketing enough to I suppose attract a new customer or a new person to the industry, or a new you know, a wider diversity pool for employees? Or are we just a bit stuck in, this is our current, I think you touched it before, how we've always done it, this is the customer right now, so we're just going to live in that space? What more can we be doing to kind of open it up, I suppose?
But it's looking for the opportunities. You know, is it, well, for recruitment within what you guys do? Yeah, there is a huge opportunity to bring people into the industry, but then the industry's also got to understand that these people are coming from outside. Yes, they will be able to do the job role that you want them to. It's just that they're going to have to learn the product or the service that you offer. And that shouldn't be too difficult. Our two engineers, yes, they are both accomplished sailors now. They both have qualifications, but 3 years ago, neither of them, well, they had stepped on boats, but they'd never done any sailing before that. But we're keen to get everyone that works for us into sailing out on the boats. Yes, we are now all sailors. Some of us a lot longer than others, but the industry needs to get away from this idea that everyone that works in the industry or that's coming to the industry has to have a sailing background. I say as a sailor, but non-sailors can really, really improve areas in your business, even though your business is focused on a certain section of the marine industry.
Absolutely. Well, Chris, it's been fantastic to chat through and catch up what's been going on with Savvy Navvy. And unfortunately we've got to bring the podcast to a close, but we always like to ask one final question to all of our guests, and that is to get their advice. That one piece of advice that maybe you would give to somebody who was considering this industry or has just started off in this industry. What would you be telling them?
I'd probably speak to everyone. Try and get as much reach within your marine network as possible. You never know when you need to ask someone a question, need to find out some information. There are some extremely knowledgeable people out there that are happy to talk, happy to help as well. So, don't restrict your network of people to just people within your company. Really expand it. We at Savvy Navvy do talk to people, yes, with industry, with partners. We share ideas about marketing campaigns and what we're doing, but we also speak to people outside. It's, for us, idea generation. If part of our quarterly meetings, we have a section which is moonshots, which is any idea that can be brought to the table. It doesn't matter how on the ground safe it is or up in the sky kind of mad. That one idea might even regardless of how mad it is, might spark another idea in someone else's mind. So thing would be keep speaking to people, try and keep interested in what other companies are doing as well, because you never know when a partnership might be available for between your two companies.
Brilliant. Great advice there, Chris. Well, look, thank you very much, Chris. It's been great chatting. Wish you all the best of luck with Savvy Navvy and where you guys are going with things. We watch with real interest, and it'll be great to chat to you again with how things are going.
Definitely. Thank you very much.